The dark water of the Atlantic churns under a pale April moon. A Spanish fisherman grips the tiller of his small boat, his knuckles white against the weathered wood. His eyes scan the horizon, not for fish, but for the shore. Then he sees it, a shape, bobbing unnaturally in the swell, caught in the faint moonlight. Is the body of a man. He wears the uniform of a British Royal Marine, the dark fabric heavy with seawater. A black briefcase is chained to his wrist, its leather gleaming wetly, a dead weight pulling him down. The year is 1943. Europe is a fortress, a continent bleeding under the boot of the Third Reich. In the smoke-filled back rooms of Whitehall, London, the air is thick with tension and the smell of stale tobacco. Maps of Europe cover every wall, crisscrossed with red and black lines. British intelligence officers, their faces pale under the lamplight, stare at the island of Sicily. Is the logical next step, the soft underbelly of Axis Europe, a stepping stone to Italy? But it is too logical. The Germans know it. Their finest divisions, the panzers and the battle-hardened infantry, wait there dug in watching the sea. A direct assault would be a slaughterhouse. A new plan is needed, not a plan of brute force, but of pure, audacious deception. One officer, his uniform collar tight, leans over a map, his finger tracing a line away from Sicily towards the coast of Greece. An idea, cold and brilliant and utterly macabre, begins to take shape in the shadows of the war room. The search begins not on a battlefield, but in the cold, anonymous corners of London. It ends in a morgue, on a steel slab under a single bare bulb. Here lies WWII Michael, a man without a family, without a home, whose life has ended quietly from ingesting poison. He is a ghost in his own city, a man nobody will miss because nobody knew he was there. In death, he is about to be given a new identity, a new purpose, and a role in one of the greatest deceptions in military history. His frail body is carefully preserved, kept on ice in a long metal canister. He is no longer WWII Michael. He is about to become Major William Martin of the Royal Marines. The creation of a man from nothing is a meticulous art. In a quiet office, a forger's hand, steady and precise, inks the details onto a military identification card. The face staring out from the photo is stern, professional, a man of purpose. Is the face of a man who does not exist. A wallet is filled with the pocket litter of a life. A crumpled receipt from a London tailor. 2 ticket stubs from a West End show, dated just weeks before. A snapshot of a smiling fiancée, a girl named Pam, her image carefully chosen to look real, loving, waiting for her man to come home. Every item tells a story. A slightly overdue bill from a gentleman's club. An angry letter from a bank manager about an overdraft. These are not the possessions of a perfect spy, but of a real, slightly careless officer. A human being. The centerpiece of the entire deception lies in the briefcase. A British intelligence officer, his brow furrowed in concentration, carefully folds a crisp sheet of paper. It is an official letter, marked most secret, from one general to another. It speaks of grand plans, of a massive Allied invasion force preparing to strike. But the target mentioned is not Sicily. The letter casually points to Greece and Sardinia, 2 entirely different fronts. This single piece of paper is the bait. The body of Major Martin is the hook. The entire German High Command is the fish. The briefcase is snapped shut, its lock clicking with a sound of chilling finality. A heavy chain is looped through the handle, ready for its grim purpose. The journey begins in the dead of night. The long, sealed canister containing the body of Major Martin is loaded onto the submarine HMS Seraph. Sailors, their faces grim, guide the cylinder through the narrow hatches into the submarine's belly. There is no ceremony, only the quiet, grim business of war. The Seraph slips its moorings and disappears beneath the waves of the River Clyde, a silent predator carrying its ghostly passenger. For days, the crew lives in the cramped, metallic confines of the submarine, the air thick with the smell of diesel and sweat. They move through enemy waters, a single sonar ping away from oblivion. The captain, his eyes red-rimmed from lack of sleep, stands at the periscope, his gaze fixed on the endless, dark water. On the 30th of April, the HMS Seraph surfaces off the coast of Huelva, in neutral Spain. The night is still, the sea a sheet of black glass. The crew works in hushed silence on the slick deck. The canister is opened. The body of Major William Martin, dressed immaculately in his uniform, is gently lifted out. He is stiff, cold, a mannequin of soldier. The officers gather around. A final check of his pockets, the wallet, the keys, the letters. The briefcase is securely chained to his wrist. The ship's captain recites a passage from the 39th Psalm, his voice a low whisper against the sound of the waves. Is a burial at sea, for a man who never was. They gently release the body into the water. It floats for a moment, then the tide catches it, slowly pulling it toward the Spanish shore and toward its destiny. A fisherman, his face weathered by sun and sea, pulls the body from the surf. The uniform is unmistakable. The briefcase, a tantalizing mystery. The Spanish authorities are called. Spain, officially neutral, is crawling with German intelligence agents. The news travels fast. A German spy, his suit impeccable, his eyes missing nothing, arrives at the local morgue. He uses careful persuasion, a few well-placed bribes, and soon he has the briefcase in his hands. The lock is forced. His fingers, covered in thin leather gloves, carefully remove the documents. The letter is laid flat, its secrets exposed under the harsh Spanish sun. Photographs are taken, the negatives rushed by diplomatic courier across the continent. The message flies over telegraph wires, clattering out on teletype machines in Berlin. It races up the chain of command, from agent to general, finally landing on a polished oak desk in the Wolf's lair. Adolf Hitler stares at a map of the Mediterranean. His generals present the intelligence, their voices confident. The British are clumsy. They have lost a high-level courier, and with him their invasion plans. The documents are authentic, the evidence overwhelming. The letters, the personal effects, the very cause of death, drowning, it all fits. The deception is perfect. Hitler's finger stabs down on the map. Not at Sicily. He points to Greece, to Sardinia. The order is given. Elite panzer divisions, their engines roaring to life, begin to move away from Sicily. Entire garrisons are redeployed. Heavy coastal guns are dismantled and shipped east. The German war machine, a massive and powerful beast, is lured into a trap, baited by the ghost of a homeless Welshman. Back in London, a coded message arrives for Winston Churchill. It contains 3 words: mincemeat swallowed whole. A faint, grim smile crosses the Prime Minister's face. July 10, 1943. Under a vast pre-dawn sky, the largest amphibious invasion force in history appears off the coast of Sicily. The Allied landings of Operation Husky begin. The soldiers storming the beaches find the defenses lighter than they could have ever hoped. The German tanks that should have been there to greet them are hundreds of miles away, guarding the wrong coastline. The Italian defenders, left without their German support, surrender in droves. The battle for Sicily is still brutal, still costly, but the path has been cleared. The door to Europe has been kicked open, not by a bomb, but by a lie. Thousands of Allied lives are saved. The course of the war in Europe is irrevocably changed. In a quiet cemetery in Huelva, Spain, there is a single, simple headstone. It stands under the shade of a cypress tree, overlooking the same waters that once carried its silent occupant to shore. The inscription is carved into the weathered stone. William Martin. It marks the final resting place of GLYNDWR Michael, the man who never was, but who played his part. His lonely death gave birth to a legend, and that legend helped to win the Second World War. His sacrifice, unknown and unwilling, echoes through history, a testament to the strange, silent, and often brutal calculus of conflict. Tell me your favorite war story I should talk about next. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video.